Hello, ladies. How are you? It's Monday over here. I hope you're having a good day so far, and I hope you had a great weekend too. So today we are going to jump in and talk about the discovery call or interview, whatever you want to call it. The last couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about selling yourself and how to actually get those jobs that you want. So today we're going to start talking about the discovery call and interview and how to actually communicate and, actually win those discovery call over. So if you are jumping on, feel free to just drop a comment in and let me know you're here and say hi. If you're watching the replay, just type replay in the comments, and I'd love to see if you're watching. So if you don't know, my name is Katie. I am the owner of Mama's Gone Freelance. I have an online school where I provide courses for women that are trying to become freelancers and scaling their business. And then I also am a freelancer myself, and that's why I started my online school. I made that change into the freelance world about 2 years ago, and I have not looked back since. It's absolutely fabulous. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to just try and help other women get to the point where, I'm at, where I'm super, super happy and in my business, in my life. And that's what I'm trying to do to get everybody else there as well. So if you are struggling in your business, or trying to figure out how to actually start your business, our 6-week starter guide program is in open enrollment, but it closes on Wednesday. So there's a link to that in the description of the video if you'd like to learn more information about it. This is actually one of the topics that we go in during those 6 weeks so that you're completely prepared for all those calls. And then even if you don't feel 100% prepared, I'm right there, as well as all of the other people that are going through the program, which is pretty cool. So let's jump right in. So a lot of times I get the question from people, what's the difference between a discovery call and an interview, right? So personally, I don't really think that there's a difference between the discovery call and an interview. At the end of the day, they're the same thing. So if you are getting hung up on the jargon and all of the words, don't worry about it. It's the same thing, okay? So an interview basically is if you see somebody post something, let's say in a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, and you have reached out to them and said, hey, like I can do that job for you. I'm interested in this position and talking to you more. Now you've sent that information to them, or you're on a job site and you have applied to something on, Upwork or one of those sites. Okay. Now that person is now interested in you and they've set up a call with you. So that is an interview. They're interested in you, you sent them information, and now you're sitting down to see if you guys are the right fit for one another and they're interested in learning more about you. The discovery call, it's just a different scenario. So the discovery call is when, what is going on with my phone? The discovery call is usually when you have your website up or a landing page or something like that, and people are following you and they have come across, maybe it is on a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post, something along those lines, and they've said, hey, I need someone to work for me, and you've posted your website, and now they've gone on your website and they see that you do a free discovery call for more information. They're like, ooh, this person I think might be a really good fit for me. They seem to really get my pain points. Let me schedule that discovery call with them. So that's really the only main difference between an interview and a discovery call. It's just kind of who's sending who information. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? You're getting to know them, they're getting to know you. So it's the same thing. Don't get hung up on the names of things. So now you have this discovery call set and you're so excited, right? But now you're nervous because you're like, great, I got to this point, but what do I actually say to them? So my best advice is to set the agenda and kind of try and take control of the conversation a little bit. And what I mean by that is, You don't have to go in and do all the talking, because that is definitely not what you want to do, because in order to be a good person at selling yourself, you don't want to do all the talking. You want to be able to listen. But what I mean by kind of controlling the conversation is when you get on that call, don't expect the other person to kind of navigate the conversation and lead it. I mean, get on that conversation and don't go in your turtle shell and be scared. I mean, say, hey, Katie, I'm so excited that we got to connect today, and we got to, I get to learn more about your business. I can't wait to, hear about what your goals are, and if I might be able to help with those goals if we are the right fit. And so you saying something like that and kind of opening the conversation up like that, it's going to, one, show that you are outgoing, taking initiative, and that you're able to kind of, navigate this phone call, because maybe they don't know how to navigate the phone call and they've never done this hiring process before. So that's number one. Number two is you are showing them that you aren't just going to sit there answering their questions. You have questions to ask them too. And number three, you're also showing them that you're not desperate for this job, even if you really are desperate, because we've all been there. We're all like, oh my God, for the love of God, can I please just get a job, right? We've all been there. But even if you are desperate, you don't want to come off like you're desperate, right? So you saying, hey, like, this is a great opportunity for us to see if we're the right fit for each other, that's giving them the impression that you're interviewing them as well, that you're not just throwing yourself out there and that you're ready to take any job, even if you are, and you have other options, you have other offers, like people want you, and so that's giving that impression with saying something like that, So that's number one. The next tip that I have for you is, if it's possible, record the phone call. Okay. And the reason why I tell you to do this is because when it comes to you asking questions, or even when not even asking questions, but they start telling you about their business and their goals and the issues that they're encountering and this and that, you're going to want to start writing down, right? Like all of us, we want to take notes. We want to be engaged in that conversation. But now when you're taking notes, you're just so focused on trying to scribble everything down that you're not really focusing, and you're focusing too much on the writing, and now you're trying to write and think of answers, and it's just too much, and now you're getting stressed out and you're getting upset, and it's just not going to go well, right? So if you, let's say, are doing a Zoom call, you can just easily record it. And so at the beginning of your conversation with this prospect, you can say, hey, like, I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of things that come out of this conversation for next steps, for things that I can send you. Would you mind if I recorded this conversation with you? Would you mind if I recorded this call so that we both have it, so that when there are next steps, I can just refer back to it? That's also going to give them a great impression of you, because you're so organized, you're so on top of things, you're thinking ahead, there's going to be things that are coming out of this conversation, and they can see that you're already planning those next steps. Okay, so that's a great way, and it also helps to lessen your stress. And part of interviewing or doing discovery calls, it's about lessening your stress, and just feeling really comfortable talking to people. Now, my next tip is be a storyteller. So kind of think about, we had done sorry, my dog is scratching himself over here. You can see him. He had a long weekend, exhausting weekend. So he really needs to relax and like get some sleep today on this Monday. This poor guy is just exhausted. The poor life he leads, you know? So anyway, last week we had been talking about cover letters and how to structure the cover letters. And we talked about how you should have that beginning, middle, and end. And if you didn't see it, I definitely recommend to go back to it. You can either type in cover letter in the little search box in the Facebook group. But in that video, I had gone through the structure of a cover letter. And so I had said in your cover letter to pick, let's say, 3 different skills or traits and things like that that you really want to highlight and focus on. And so that's the same idea and concept that you should have when you're going on an interview and discovery call. Okay, you should have those couple of points that you want to be able to bring up and talk about with that potential client to make those points. So my recommendation is have, so let's say it is productivity. You want to bring up productivity and how you've implemented, you know, productivity initiatives into past jobs. Okay, so you want to have, that's the topic, the productivity, and then you want to have a couple of sentences that you can talk about and say in order to one, state, okay, I was great at productivity at this last job. This is how I was good. So you're going to list some things and describe what was it that you did in your last job that helped to implement those productivity strategies, okay? And then what was the end result? Okay, so you always want to have that end result. So are you able to say you were able to increase, you know, productivity by a certain percentage? If you're a social media manager, were you able to increase your engaged users by this percentage? If you're an administrative assistant, were you able to reduce time on administrative tasks by implementing new systems in place, such as Airtable, Trello, things like that. So be able to have those things handy and write them down, bullet them out, because a lot of times when we're on these interviews and discovery calls, we get nervous, right? And so if you just have those bullet out points, it's so much easier to then just, when you're talking to someone, just be able to glance down, you know, and be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. That's what I wanted to bring up, you know, so much easier, so much less stressful, right? So just remember, let's say you want to bring up those 3 points. For each one of those 3 points, beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so what's the topic? How were you able to implement and change something? And what was the end result? Okay. And then the next step is you should have questions ready for the person that is interviewing you. And so in my 6-week starter guide, I do have a list of questions that I provide to all of my peeps. And then you can add to it. I'm gonna provide everybody in this group with that document as well. And it's just like a nice little template with just like basic questions. And then based on your specific industry and niche that you're going into, you can just kind of add in some additional questions. But it's just a nice template just to have. So I'm going to share that in the comments of this video. I'll have that document. And then the last part is going in for the close. So how do you actually close up the conversation and kind of close it so that you are getting that job? So a couple of different things. So one way to close it is actually knowing your numbers, so knowing the research, going on to that person's website, going into their niche industry and really understanding and knowing the numbers, knowing your own numbers on what you've done in the past with productivity and social media and whatever it is that you work with, and kind of bring out some good research that is in that niche industry. Wrap it up by identifying what their goals are. So saying, okay, from this conversation, this is what it seems like what you're looking for. Am I correct when I'm saying that? And kind of reiterating what it is that they want. And then saying, okay, this is what I would like to do, and this is how I would be able to help you. Another great thing is also asking them to clarify the pain points for you. So saying, okay, this, it sounds like X, Y, and Z is an issue for you. Is that correct? Am I understanding that that's, your biggest issue right now? So really reiterating what the conversation has said so that you are 100% sure. And you're also letting them know that you are really listening and taking in all the information. And then another recommendation is have next steps. So now it's the end of the interview. You've kind of gone through all of the questions. They've asked you everything. Ask them what their next steps in this process is. Where are you at in your decision making of hiring somebody? What I would love to do for you is put together a proposal for you of what I would be able to do. Let's say you're a social media manager. Put together a really short presentation of how you would increase that person's followers, how you would engage users. What would you do if you're a virtual assistant and you're going to be working with them on productivity and implementing, some streamlining processes and things? Put together just a little presentation. It's going to take you not that long in PowerPoint. And that's another thing that I give you in the 6-week starter guide is just like a basic little presentation. And once you put that together, and this is the part where you should definitely try and stay in your niche industry, is as you have those discovery calls or interviews, whatever you want to call them, you're able to kind of use the same PowerPoint presentation and just swap things out a little bit, based on that person's need and their business and all of those things. But once you have it done, you can kind of just repurpose it. But you look so awesome and amazing for putting this like PowerPoint together for this person and taking the time to do this. Meanwhile, they have no idea that you're just like reusing it all the time. And you can put in there all of those stats that you found in the industry from your research and stuff like that. So it makes you look really, really nice. So now you want to wrap it up and say, okay, I'm going to get this presentation over to you by X, Y, and Z by tomorrow or whenever it is. I would love to schedule another call with you to go over that so we could talk more about what I can do for you. Okay, so that's how you want to wrap things up. Have next steps so that you guys can talk again and continue that conversation and close that deal. If there's no need for those next steps and that person is like, nope, I'm good, I need you to start like as soon as possible, that's when you start working on that proposal and that contract. You get it over to them and you get them to sign it as quick as possible. So hop on in, let me know if you have any questions. If you are watching the replay, just let me know. I will post those discovery call questions in the description, not in the description, in the comments of this video. And then lastly, just as a reminder, Wednesday is the last day for our open enrollment for our 6-week starter guide program. There will not be another session until 2019, and I'm not sure if if the next session will be in January or February. So if you are interested in trying to start your business and you kind of need a little bit more hand holding and would love some templates and videos and, you know, how to actually navigate all of these things with starting, I definitely recommend you check it out. There will be just a link to it in the description of the video. And in addition, the price will be going up a little bit in after the new year. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of the price that it is currently at now. So I hope that this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Oh, I will talk to you tomorrow because I'm going to be hopping in here tomorrow and talking to you about, what am I talking to you about tomorrow? Hello, it's Monday. What am I talking to you about tomorrow? Where's my launch calendar? All right, well, I'll let you know what I'm talking to you about tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow, I know what I'm talking about. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.